some pretty big hail, which we've noted in a couple of those systems. Let's get back to Richland County and show you that storm. And while I'm getting there, maybe we could send things over to Dante and I'll get some updates from the National Weather Service.
Yeah,
Dante?
Mackenzie, it's talking about the hail here while you're talking about that. I want to show folks this. The hail sizes are getting a little larger. So this is from that storm that we're talking about. Here's that tornado polygon is what we call that tornado warning box. But this is the path of the storm, where the storm has gone. And this is that hail path. So if you were with us a few minutes ago, we mentioned this legend here. Here's dark gray, a little lighter, and white. And then from Dallas, just to the north of Caledonia, right along 309, and just approaching 61, you'll notice that now we're into these blues here, and we're getting close to that purple. So these hail sizes are getting larger as these storms blow through. So a heads up for those of you in Belleville and just to the south, even though the area of rotation is just to the south of you, these hail cores could be coming down and could be producing some damage on some of your vehicles. So just a heads up that these storms are having a history of producing some hail. Now, luckily, they are not the huge hail sizes that they could be, but they are producing some hail. What I want to do is look at some other storms and kind of look at the hail path of some of these other storms. So this is the storm that's moved out of Strasburg and now moving just to through New Philadelphia. It's a severe thunderstorm warned storm, but look at these hail sizes. This goes anywhere from 241 just to the north of Walnut Creek and just to the south of Strasburg and right into New Philadelphia now. So you've gotten some storms with hail that has fallen in New Philadelphia, south of Strasburg, north of Walnut Creek. And these hail sizes are a little bit larger than what we had been seeing with some of these earlier storms. So it looks like as these storms are blowing through here into the early evening or prime time hours, that they're having a lot more hail and larger hail sizes with these, and then that tornadic threat to them as well as the storm system sinks southward. So as Mackenzie's looking at that information on the tornado warning, we're just tracking some of this hail. And these hail cores are starting to get a little larger. So that was a warning for any material, any cars or what have you that you may have needed to move into a garage or a carport or what have you. Just zooming out, and I know this is just a little quick, not seeing other than those two severe warned storms, which is symbolic of a storm that's severe, is that it has large hail. Not seeing any other hail cores with any of these storms. Storms up along the lake, not seeing hail cores with those, but we are just to the south of 76 here seeing a storm with a hail core producing hail and then moving into southern Richland County. Now, we'll say that storm that is moving into southern Richland County, the rest of that storm that's not tornadically warned, it's now severe thunderstorm warned. I'll show you that here, that we now have a severe thunderstorm warning on that storm because it is still producing some really gusty winds as well as some hail and some heavy rainfall as well. I will see if I can't clean this up a little bit, zoom in a little bit more, and so you can see exactly where the storm is at that I'm talking about, because all these colors can get a little confusing and look pretty terrible to you. But all right, so here's where we are. Belleville right there. But if you look just to the west of Belleville, North Bloomfield, just to the south of North Bloomfield, here's where you see the hail. You see those dark colors there. That's a lot of rainfall falling. There's that classic hook signature there where there could be a possible tornado that it looks like that's starting to weaken just a tad, but still I can still see that hook and make that out. So I can definitely still see why the National Weather Service is still keeping this as a tornadically warned storm. But that's going to be moving in this direction. And so what the National Weather Service has said is that this is the area that we're watching for rotation, but the rest of the storm is still producing some very heavy wind, still producing some hail that we're seeing right there, and some pretty heavy downpours as well. So that is indicative of a severe storm. And so they've said that is still a severe thunderstorm warning, while the rest of the storm, the southern track of that, is still a tornado warning. So we're still looking at 71 around just to the west of Belleville, and then 13 going right through Belleville. Just a heads up there, that storm is going to be moving through that direction. So if you're in Belleville in southern Richland County, this tornadically warned storm and severe warned thunderstorm moving through your direction. So I'll probably stay away from any windows. Seek your innermost room or hallway that you can, because these winds could probably do some damage to windows and things of that nature. Mackenzie, what do you got from the National Weather Service for us?
So you're talking about that hail size, and actually this storm here is capable of producing golf ball sized hail, which is just some of the measurements that you were talking about. But within this tornado warning, we also are seeing that really large hail that you had mentioned, and that could be up to golf ball size. And when we put that in perspective, golf ball size is just shy of 2 inches. So, I mean, yeah, yikes. Besides seeing the possibility of rotation in a tornado, we also could have some large hail that's really doing some damage here. We're starting to see some of the strongest winds about to enter parts of Richland County. So again, we're watching out for this area here where we're seeing some of those reds and greens just kind of back to each other. And again, this is just going to be impacting areas near Belleville and south of that, at least in our viewing area within parts of Richland County. And that newest scan, we're about to see that start to enter Richland County. So I'll put back on our radar, and we are going to take another look at the storm track and get a better look at the timing. We're already seeing that heavy rain. You should see that here shortly, probably within the next 5 to 10 minutes, that heavy rain really pick up. And then that hail core that we are talking about, that part of the storm that is just very tall where we can get that large hail, that's right here, right around 42. We are expecting that to continue to move off to the south and east. And you might be hearing some of that hail outside on your roof, probably within the next 5 to 10 minutes as well. We are seeing this storm fall apart a little bit, so any rotation is starting to broaden out some, which is just a showing that some of that storm is weakening. Again, this warning goes until 9:30. And Belleville, you're just about to see that storm now. So that storm was just to your west, and that's now about to enter your area. So let's put a new track on this system here where the heaviest of the rain is, those stronger winds, and some of that rotation. This storm is moving pretty fast. The latest update said it was moving southeast at 65 miles per hour. So according to that, it's expected to be in Belleville at 8:58. So that's within the next 5 minutes. And then we'll continue moving into Clear Fork High School right around 9 o'clock. And then should be out of, I'd say be out of Richland County right around 9:08. So we're going to stay with you until this storm moves past Belleville and out of Richland County. And then we'll let you get back to your programming. But at least for the next 10 minutes, we want to keep you updated on this tornado warning, as not only are we seeing the possibility of some of that rotation, but we're also seeing the heavy rain, that really large hail included in this storm. Let's take another slice of the storm because it still looks very tall. So I'm going to zoom out on our radar. We'll take another slice of this. And again, when we do that, we're literally looking inside of the storm at that storm top and seeing how tall it is. The taller the storm is, the more severe it's expected to be. So if we take a look at the tallest part of the storm, we are seeing that weaken some. So our latest scan does look like we have that storm below 20,000 feet. So again, any higher than that, that's when we start to get into more of those severe limits, when we're really talking about that large impressive hail. But everything's kind of just shy of that. Looks like tallest part of the storm maybe reaching 30,000 feet. But again, it seems like that storm is starting to fall apart, which that is exactly what we like to see. We'd like to get you back to your regular programming and get some of those storms out of there. get back to our radar look here. So we'll take a look at that and get a look at that latest velocity scan too. Again, this storm now just starting to move south Richland County, just about to move into Belleville. You're just about to see some of the heaviest of the rain, and so should be out of here within the next 10 minutes or so. We have seen a lot of large hail across the area. Remember that storm that we were covering, keeping an eye on in Tuscarawas County? Just wanted to bring you an update that that storm in Tuscarawas County now just starting to move out. So that did pass by Dover. Now that's starting to move into parts of Carroll County. And again, this is just a severe thunderstorm warning, but it did contain some gusty winds and several reports of some pea-sized hail embedded in that storm there. So just wanted to kind of bring in an update on that. All right, let's send things over to Jonte.
Yeah, Mackenzie, I was noticing all the heavy rain with these storms, especially up by the lake. So what I did was I took a look and see how much rain was coming down with some of these. Take a look at what we've gotten so far. Around Oberlin, 2.6 inches of rain already. Around Sandusky, 1.3 inches of rain. In eastern Lorain County, a little closer towards Cuyahoga County line, 1.2 inches of rain. So there's a lot of rain that's falling with these storms. Here's some of the storm damage reports here. Looks like some tree damage down maybe in Medina County, some hail with the storm that we're tracking right now over towards just to the west of Mansfield, some hail with that storm down towards Tuscarawas County and New Philadelphia, and even the Trumbull County over in Cortland. So some of these storms that we're seeing in south of 76, along south of 76, producing some hail. And then look out west here over towards the 75 corridor. And a lot of tree damage, a lot of large hail, and then some wind, gusty wind reports as well. Those storms are moving eastward, and as they move eastward, they've weakened just a little bit. So notice all the damage is there, but now it becomes just a little more spotty, the east that it moves. So the storm trajectory coming eastward and somewhat southward as well. So we'll call that southeastward is the storm movement. So a lot of heavy rainfall and a lot of storm damage as well. Let's just get you back here to some of the rainfall 12-hour rainfall totals. I wanted to scoot in a little bit closer on some of these. Look at these green. So the green is what we're looking at. That is an inch or more. So an inch or more over towards Oberlin and Lorain, if you can see that there. And then just to the north of that, of course, is the lake. And we head eastward. And the rainfall totals, they tamp down just a little bit. Maybe there's some spots that get a little bit more Euclid over towards Menor. And as we head up towards North Madison, some heavy rainfall there as well. Trumbull and Lenox, seeing some heavy rainfall amounts. Let's look at some of these places where some of these thunderstorms have rolled over. There we are. So just to the north of the Mansfield area where that thunderstorm is just moving through there. So Shelby, Crestline, seeing some heavy rainfall amounts there, about an inch or more in some of these areas. So seeing a lot of heavy rainfall that could produce some flooding. And the problem is some of these storms that have moved through can have other storms that move through right behind them. And we see some more heavy rain. So we could see some minor flooding, not expecting a whole lot of flooding, but there's some ponding on the roadways. And then there's blinding spots too, as these torrential downpours come from these storms on the area expressways, streets, what have you. That may prompt some folks to pull over and just kind of wait this thing out, as there's a lot of moisture for these storms to tap into. We'll continue to kind of scoot out and move around and see where some of the rainfall is the heaviest. Looks like it's really confined really just right up along the lake where the rainfall is the heaviest, but certainly seeing a lot of rainfall with the storms. I think we mentioned anywhere from about an inch or two is what we were forecasting for these storms to put down. And so by the time this moves out here overnight, there's going to be a good amount of rainfall left behind. Good news is there were some areas that were abnormally dry, but now that we're getting this much needed rainfall, we should, as far as the drought monitor goes, we should start to look a little better in that respect. Let's head over to McKenzie, get another track here of the tornadically warned storm. I think what did it go to, like 8:45, maybe 9 o'clock? Is that what the tornado warning was?
Tornado warning goes until 9:30. We are going to. Sorry, I'm just getting another update from the National Weather. No, you're good. You're good. So it seems like the area of rotation is closer to Fredericktown. So that's just south of Richland County.
Okay.
So Dante, let's stay on this another, let's say 10 minutes or so, just so the storm gets past Belleville, and then we'll probably be okay to let that tornado warning expire. They are going to continue that for parts of Richland County, again, until I believe 9:30. Yeah, until 9:30. So they're going to continue that until 9:30 for Richland County for that very southern end. But I'm putting on our shear. So whenever we talk about shear, it's kind of how the different winds in the environment uses. The more shear, the better chance that we see these severe storms. So if you're seeing those pops of blues, those different shades of blues here on your screen, that means the environment is ripe to see some rotation. And I just wanted to show that that has all been south of Richland County, so south of Belleville, something that the National Weather Service was also talking about. We're going to turn on velocity. I know we're throwing a lot of words at you here. You're basically going to be meteorologists at the end of this tornado warning. But just to show you that also Fredericktown, that's where they're seeing that area of rotation. So it's just a little bit south of Richland County. So it does seem like for our friends in Belleville, again, a lot of that rotation is just south of you. So we're going to stay on just for a couple more minutes until this storm passes your area. We want to get you through this storm and make sure everybody's safe there, and maybe be sure that it is behind us. I want to get back to our regular radar here, looking at it. So right now, Belleville, you are seeing the worst of the rain. It does seem like any hail core would just be south of Belleville. So right along that Richland County border. North Liberty is close to that. Gatton Rock's close to that. That's where we are seeing the tallest part of the storm. And then south of that, it seems like that's where we're seeing a little bit of that rotation continue into the area. We can take a look at how tall, actually, let's take a look at our hail tracks here, because we did see the possibility of golf ball sized hail included in this storm. That's something that they mentioned. And again, that seems like it's south of Richland County too, just north of Fredericktown, Middlebury, I believe it is. So that's where they do have some of that larger hail possible. And going back to where this storm started, just to our west, you could see that track of where they really had some large hail, golf ball sized hail is possible. And we've seen a lot of reports of that through the night. So again, this is a tornado warning for the very southern end of Richland County. Mansfield is not included in this. This is well south of Mansfield. It's Belleville and south of that. This warning goes until about 9:30 or so, but I'd say let's do 2 more minutes of this coverage and then we'll send you back to our regular programming, because this storm is just about out of Richland County. I'm going to put a track on where we're seeing that core. So again, this is moving off to the south and east. Strongest part of the storm, that should be out of Richland County right around 9:09. So I'd say less than 5 minutes. These storms have been moving very quickly. This one's moving right around 65 miles per hour. So it's just about out of here. And with the latest update, it does seem like that hail has dropped slightly. Now we're forecasting right around an inch hail size. So that's about the size of a quarter. So quarter size hail now just south of Belleville. I want to zoom out. Before we leave you, we're going to give you another kind of picture of what we're tracking. So again, there's that tornado warning that's just about to move out of Richland County here shortly. We still have a severe thunderstorm warning that is now moving out of Tuscarawas County, starting to move into parts of Carroll County now and off to the south and east. Look at this hail core. I mean, when you see those whites and pinks, that is a really tall storm. Let's just really quickly kind of get into this storm. So we'll see how tall that storm is as we take a look at that. Wow, that is a tall, we're probably seeing some really large hail embedded in that. So it seems like even the tops of that storm, well reaching what, 20, yeah, maybe 30,000 feet. So very strong system there. And again, that is right around Carroll County is where we're seeing that just move south of. That'll last until about 9:15. All right, Belleville, you're just out of the clear when it comes to the strongest part of that storm. That should be out of the area. Again, that tornado warning will go until 9:30 for the very far end of Richland County. Dante, before we go back to programming, is there anything else you wanted to add?
Yeah, I mean, to your point, Mackenzie, there's a lot of hail, and these look at the hail track around that storm, around New Philadelphia, Sherrittsville, going to be moving into Pennsylvania here shortly. Again, Walnut Creek and Strasburg. So just a heads up, these storms, as they blow through, could produce some large hail. But right now, the biggest threat is the really gusty winds with these storms and some blinding rain, which not only is blinding, but could cause some minor flooding and some ponding on the roadways as well. All right, so it looks like the storm is moving south of Belleville and south of Richland County. We're going to continue to monitor the other storms that we have in the area. If they are tornadically warned, we're going to hop back on air and get you through those as well. But until then, stay safe. Again, stay away from the windows and into the centermost portion of your house or apartment if these storms start to blow through, because they have some gusty winds. But we'll continue to monitor these for the rest of the night. And otherwise, if we don't hop back on before 10 o'clock, we'll see you at the newscast at 10 o'clock. We'll send you back to regular programming, the iHeartRadio Music Award.